Hi, welcome back. Today's mobility flow is focused on the spine so that you can get familiar with how your spine moves, how there's different parts of it, and how it can be better integrated with the pelvis and the shoulders, the whole body really. So we'll begin on the back, coming into a constructive rest pose. You have your feet at least hip width apart, knees are bent. You can place one hand over your lower belly and the other over your chest. And depending on your energy level or how focused you feel, you might want to keep your eyes open. Otherwise, close them if it's comfortable. You start by checking in and bringing your attention here. Let the ground support you and carry your weight. Breathe consciously through your nose, creating a steady rhythm, soft and quiet. Do you sense your breath moving beneath both hands? Do you sense your breath through your back, moving against the mat? Take a few more cycles. If your eyes are closed, you can gently blink them open. Take a long body stretch, arms back, feet forward. You can move a little, wiggle around, roll your ankles and wrists. Bend knees towards your chest, pulling thighs close to you. Give your low back a stretch here as you flex the hips. Feel free to rock side to side. Stir your knees around, drawing little circles, adding more motion to the hips. Once you've gone a few times one direction, stir your knees the other direction. Okay, step your feet on the mat. Again, about hip width apart. Placing your hands lightly on your front hip points, the front of the hip bones. Using hands for feedback here. For now, just sense the natural curves of your spine. You notice how some parts touch the ground, some don't. Okay, like the neck is raised off the ground. Lower spine usually has a gap. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of pelvic tilting to get more familiar with how the pelvis can rock forward and back. And just notice how it's connected to the low spine. So starting by tilting the pelvis back, imagine you have a belt buckle on and you're tipping the belt buckle back towards you. You can close the gap between your low spine and the floor, pressing lower spine down and tipping the pelvis back. And just take a pause to feel how it feels. And then we'll do the opposite. You tip your belt buckle forward, pelvis forward. So you create that gap again between the ground and your low spine. You can kind of exaggerate it, do a tiny back bend. Then let's do the opposite. Again, tilting the pelvis back, press your lower spine on the mat or towards the mat. You then tip the pelvis forward, creating that gap again, lifting low spine off the mat. You just do a couple more of these rocks with control, back and forth. Feeling how the pelvis affects the spine, especially from the low spine, and then it encourages a little more movement higher up. Okay, bring your pelvis back to a more neutral, relaxed position, softening thighs and hips. Okay. And then one more time, we're going to press the lower spine towards the mat. Keep it here. Okay. Low belly toned, more contracted and strong. And come into dead bug pose. Stacking knees over hips, bending knees about 90 degrees, arms up to the ceiling. The lower spine towards the ground. Okay. This will help keep your torso more stable as we move the arms and legs. First, reach your right arm back. Your arm could be hovering off the floor. Keep it straight if possible. You can always keep the arm higher in the air if you need. Then extend your left leg forward. Maybe hovering the leg too, or keeping it higher. Return to dead bug. Notice what the low back is doing. Press it towards the ground. Left arm back. Then right leg forward. Opposite arm and leg towards opposite walls. Reset in dead bug. Again, right arm back, left leg forward. Draw the navel in or slightly contract low belly. Reset in dead bug. And once more, left arm reaches back while right leg lengthens forward. Keep your midsection strong and return to dead bug. Step your feet on the mat. Rest your arms on the ground. You can take them wide away from you. Feet could be as wide as the mat for windshield wiper legs. Knees go right to left. Several times. Here, can you feel the pelvis kind of swiveling side to side too? Maybe turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees. Okay, hug knees to chest, wrapping arms around your legs. Okay, when you're ready, start to rock forward and back. Okay, a couple times. And then we'll come to a kneeling position. So you're gonna bring your knees to the mat together, sitting on the heels. Okay, if you need to raise your hips, you could tuck your toes under or put a block between your feet. And from this kneeling position, we'll just prepare the wrists and shoulders for more weight bearing and movement. So just reach the arms forward. Okay, have your palms face in. And take your arms a little wider than your shoulders. And we're going to try to move the shoulder blades. Okay, start by elevating shoulder blades up. Now retract them in towards the spine. Depress them down away from ears. Then protract them apart. Think of reaching past your fingertips. And again, elevate shoulder blades up. Retracting them inward. Depress them down. Protract apart. Okay, let's reverse that motion. Retracting shoulder blades in first. Elevate them up. Protract apart. Depress down. Once more, retract in. Shoulder blades elevate up. Protract apart, reaching beyond fingertips, and depress them down. Okay, relax your arms. All right, so for the wrists, just reach the arms, bend your elbows about 90 degrees and have your palms facing up. Okay. We'll try to move at the wrist here, not flipping the arm bone or moving upper arms away from you. Let's turn the hands in towards center. Then fingers down towards the floor. So we're going to carve out a circle. Continue by moving fingers away from center and up to the ceiling. Then again into center and down, away from center and up. So carving out these circles with control. Go once more this direction. And then a few times the opposite direction. Do your best to keep the fingers straight, palm flat, not cupping. Carving out the circle, moving through your wrist. All right, you can give hands a little shake. And then come into tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, arms and thighs vertical. Press actively down through your hands, okay, to send strength up more into your torso. For the ankles, we'll extend right leg back. For the most part, toes can stay on the ground. Begin rolling your right ankle in one direction, deliberately, mindfully. Rolling your ankle through its range. Keep upper body strong. And go the opposite way too. You could press through the toes, the ball of the foot. Return to tabletop. And extend your left leg back. Your toes, for the most part, stay on the mat. Roll your ankle one direction several times. Then the other direction. Tabletop position. All right. So from here, we'll start to bring more attention to the different parts of the spine, trying to segment each region, from lower to middle and upper. First, keeping your spine in a more neutral position, keeping its curves, with low belly slightly contracted and lifted. See if you can just move your neck without moving the rest of the spine. So keeping your gaze first between your hands. And slowly bring your chin towards your chest. So you're going to look down, maybe back in between the knees. Try not to move any other parts of the spine. Push through hands. And then we'll look forward slowly. And maybe slightly looking up. Just moving through the neck. Again, bring your chin with control towards your chest. Okay, then bringing your chin forward, looking a bit forward, maybe up. Breathing smoothly. One more time, chin towards your chest. And bringing it forward. Okay, let's neutralize the neck here, just looking down. And now to isolate more of your lower back and pelvis. Go to the elbows. You could stay on the hands, but going to your elbows will actually help lock your upper spine in place, so we can really just move through the low spine. Okay, so like you did on your back earlier, let's start by tipping the pelvis back. Bring your tailbone a bit down, okay, so you create more length and a little rounding in your low spine. Okay, now tip your pelvis forward slowly with control, trying not to move the middle or upper back. Again, pelvis tips back, just rocking, and tip it forward. Seeing how much mobility, movement you have in these joints. Again, tip your pelvis back, tailbone downwards. Then opposite, tailbone kind of tilting upwards. Come to neutral. Okay, now moving on to the upper spine. We'll try it from a child's pose type of position. You can bring your hips back, big toes together. If hips need to be higher, that's okay. Arms stay extended forward, about shoulder width apart. Okay, so start more neutral. You can keep your gaze down between your arms. Let's try a little flexion or rounding first. So bring your chin towards your chest. So looking down and back, your gaze encourages the spine to round. Send your mid-spine to the ceiling. Okay, and to do the opposite, you can use your gaze again, bringing your eyes forward. Okay, and think of a little back bend here as you look slightly up, chest kind of down. And then we'll do the opposite, bringing your gaze down and back, rounding mid-spine towards the ceiling. Okay, and then we'll reverse, bringing your gaze forward, mid-spine moves down, a little extension here in the upper back. Okay, this is a little harder. Okay, once more, bringing your chin down and back, looking back, rounding upper spine. Then just do the opposite. Feeling a little back bend here through the upper back. Come to neutral. And return to tabletop. Okay, so we'll combine all these movements of the spine into cow and cat, and do your best to initiate from the pelvis. So beginning in neutral, just looking between or slightly ahead of fingertips. Tip your pelvis back. We'll go to cat slowly first. The pelvis tips back, tailbone down. Okay, this affects the mid-spine, making it round, mid-spine towards the ceiling, then look down and back to your belly button. Keep looking at your belly button as you tip the pelvis forward, gradually moving into cow. As the pelvis tips forward, the belly lowers. At the last moment, you could bring your gaze forward and a little bit up. Keep your gaze forward. Tip your pelvis back, starting to move into cow or cat again. Round the spine, mid-spine to the ceiling. At the last moment, look at your belly button. Practice control. Keep looking back. Tip the pelvis forward to move into cow. Lowering the belly. At the last moment, bring your gaze forward. All right, come to neutral. Tuck your toes under. Knees an inch off the mat, just hover knees for a moment, pressing through hands. Now raise your hips higher and walk your hands to your feet. Keep your feet about hip width apart. Softening knees, take a halfway lift, chest forward, lengthening your back, fold, hands and head down. Again, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, then fold. Rise up to standing, pushing through feet, circle your arms up, and close, hands to heart center. Okay, release your arms at your sides. Okay, so before we do more weight-bearing postures, let's try to wake up upper arms and shoulders, lats as well. You'll want to try to do this next set of movements, again, slowly with resistance to really build strength. So take your arms up overhead. Okay. So arms are up here. Can you hold the arms up without back bending a lot or flaring the ribs open? Do your best to hug front ribs in, arms long and maybe straight. Okay. Extend your wrists so your fingers are pointing back, your palms are pointing to the ceiling. Okay, sorry if you can't see my hands here, but just think of this as a handstand, but you're not upside down. Press your palms on the ceiling, feel the top of the arm and wrist engage. All right, from here, very slowly begin to bend your elbows. Try to keep wrists in extension. And as you bend your elbows, they're gonna move down, hug them in towards the body. Let your elbows keep bending and move them past your waist and back behind you. Okay, kind of like a chaturanga or push-up arms. Okay, now reverse pressing hands forward. And with control, take your arms up overhead. Do your non-inverted handstand. Let's again try bending elbows slowly. Hugging them in towards center. Let them pass your waist. Pulling them back. Engaging the backs of the shoulders. With resistance, press your palms forward, then up to the sky. Do your handstand, front ribs in. Okay, one more time, elbows bent. They're gonna wanna move away from midline, so just try to hug them in close to the body, elbows past your waist, pull them back. Then press your palms forward. Reach arms overhead. Take a pause in your handstand. Then lower your arms. You can give hands a little shake. You might have felt a lot of work on your forearms there. And roll your shoulders also a couple of times. And then relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Okay, standing in mountain. You're basically in it already. Just continue to stand with purpose, grow taller. Okay, notice if you are lifting with your shoulders and chest, try to relax them. Balancing your head over your chest, chest over hips. On your next breath, circle the arms up. Then folding forward, hinge at your hips, bending knees on the way. Half lift, chest forward past your toes. Now walk your hands forward along the mat to a high plank. The shoulders are over wrists, legs are long, thighs firm. This is a full plank, but another option is supported plank with knees down behind hips. Okay, this is a good way to still build strength and hold your weight, but have less load. Okay, so whether you're in full or supported plank, look and lean forward a bit. In slow motion, lower yourself all the way down to your stomach. Untuck the toes. Okay, reach your arms forward. Arms at least shoulder width. Try to keep palms facing down. You can look down so the neck is smooth. And we're going to coordinate opposite arm and leg. So when you're ready, begin to raise right arm. Lift your chest a little too. Then your left leg as well. So opposite arm and leg. Okay, keep left arm light if you can, using your back strength. And softly release. Okay, other side. Lift left arm. Reach past fingertips, raise your chest a bit too. Then right leg as well. Level hips, opposing muscles working in your back. Release down. Okay, now without pushing too hard, lift everything. So both arms and legs, keeping limbs long, active. This is like a crunch for your back body. Keep it breathable. Send arms back by your sides. Bring legs closer together. One more breath. Lower down. Okay, placing hands outside the ribs. Still building strength in your back. Press your feet and hips down for a low cobra. This is a small back bend, hands light, arms close to you. Release down. And take one more low cobra. Lifting your chest. You could stay here. If you're ready for more back bending, press your hands down to lift your chest higher. Avoid shrugging shoulders. You can do high cobra. Maybe firm the thighs for upward facing dog. Then child's pose. Hips back towards heels. Okay, just breathing here in child's pose. We'll connect child's pose and upward facing dog or cobra with some spinal waves, trying to create this seamless motion, moving through each part of the back. So starting in child's pose, okay, your knees are closer together, maybe a little wider. Keep your gaze towards your belly button. Okay, your gaze is back here. Lift your hips away from your heels. Keep looking towards your belly button and then shift your torso forward. So your hips are going to go down. Keep your chest lifted for a high cobra. At the last moment, look forward, maybe slightly up. Okay, now keep your gaze forward, pressing into hands. Move your hips back. Keep looking forward, hips back. Maybe they touch your heels. And at the last moment, you bring your head down gently. Okay, look at your belly button. And keep your gaze at your belly button as you raise your hips. Still weight in the hands. Bring your hips forward. Keep gazing back. Chest is up as you go into a high cobra. Looking forward at the last moment. Still looking forward. Now we'll reverse. Hips back, looking forward. And at the last moment, you bring your gaze down. Let's go through one more spinal wave, forward and back. Keep your gaze again at your belly button. Press through legs to lift hips. Keep looking back, looking back. Your hips go forward, chest stays tall. At the last second, look forward. Strong in the arms. Then to reverse, keep your gaze forward. Looking forward, hips go back. Hips towards heels. Keep looking forward as long as you can. Then bring your gaze down. Okay, stay in child's. One more breath. Shifting forward to tabletop next. Fingers spread apart. Root the base knuckles that connect your fingers to your palm. Tuck toes under, downward facing dog. Okay, so you're sending your hips up and back, pushing hands down and forward. Hug front ribs in a little. Just remember that cue from when we were standing with arms overhead. This is similar, okay, but now we're doing more of an inversion. Arms are overhead. Settle in, create a long and wide enough base. Now rising up on your toes. Bend your knees, step or walk to the front of your mat. Feet could be hip width or together. Half lift, hard forward, then fold. Come up to standing, pushing through the feet, circle arms overhead. Then close, hands at your hearts. Arms circle up, take up space. Fold forward, hinging at your hips. From here, step your left foot back, lowering your left knee. You can untuck your left toes. And now just a few times we're going to shift back and forward. So starting with hands on the ground or keeping them on the ground. Shift hips back. You can walk hands back to lengthen right leg like a half split. Then shift forward, rebending right knee. Again, shift back, half split, and shift forward. You move the hands when necessary. Once more, shifting back. Then forward. Okay, slide your left knee forward so it's under your left hip, and right knee is over the ankle. From the side, you'd see a box between your legs. Smoothly kick right leg back, hands planted under shoulders. Kick right leg back, toes are pointing down. So you level your hips, avoid hammocking in the lower belly. To add more, reach left arm forward, opposite arm and leg. And lifting, lengthening, one more breath. And you just return left hand to the mat. Turn right foot and knee out to move your right leg to your right through space and softly step your right foot on the floor. Standing up on the left knee, we'll get ready for gate pose. Your right leg is to your right, foot planted, arms overhead. Okay, I'll just turn to mirror you. Reach even higher and smoothly bend your upper body to the right. Little side stretch. Push your left knee through the mat. Okay, maintain space all around the rib cage, space for your breath. Smoothly return to center. Place hands behind your head lightly, elbows wide, and we'll try to tilt the torso away from your right foot, keeping the foot planted. Strong around your midsection, spin the heart upwards, add a light rotation. Okay, then your right waist can pull you back to center, hands down. Hands under shoulders. Recruit your outer right hip to raise your right leg. Do your best not to shift your torso too much to the left. Lifting your leg in the air, kick it straight back behind you. Okay, bring your right knee down to tabletop. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Nostril breathing. On your next breath, come up high on the toes. Bend your knees, step or walk forward. Halfway lift. Fold. This time, right foot steps back. You can lower the right knee for a low lunge, keeping hands on the ground for support. Hands could also be on blocks. Okay, so a few times, mindfully shift your hips back, lengthen left leg, like half split. Left leg might stay bent. Then lunge forward, okay, planting left foot. Again, hips back, like a half split. And lunge forward, moving hands forward too. One more time, hips back. And lunge forward. Just keep your left knee over the ankle. Slide right knee under right hip if it isn't already there. So you have a box between your legs. Then smoothly, we're gonna kick left leg back. Hands planted under shoulders. Press through the mat. Good. Keep the line from your head through your pelvis and left foot. And you can add more to that line, reaching right arm forward, balancing on opposite hand and knee. And reach longer through the body. Push the left hand through the mat. Okay, return right hand to the mat. Okay, rotate left foot and knee out. Kicking your leg over to the left and stepping your foot softly onto the floor. When you're ready, stand on your right knee. And get ready for gate, arms up. Okay, reach higher and bend your upper body to the left. It doesn't have to be a very far or deep stretch. Push your right knee through the mat. Come back to center. Hands light behind your head. Tip your torso, tilt the pelvis with it to the right as much as you can without lifting left foot. And try to spin your heart up. Just recruiting more rotational muscles, stuff around your core. Back to center. Hands down under shoulders. Okay, bring attention to your outer left hip. Recruit those big muscles to lift your left leg in the air. Then move your left leg straight back. Tabletop. Tuck toes under for downward facing dog. Okay, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. On your next cycle, rise up on toes. Bend your knees and step or walk forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Come up to standing. Arms reach high. Closing it out. Bring hands to your heart. Okay, resting arms at your sides. Okay, a breath or two right here in mountain pose. Okay. So coming into chair, bend your knees, hips back, arms up by your ears. Try to frame your ears with your arms, and also your best to straighten the arms, reach with purpose. Your shoulders will naturally shrug. Sit deeper if you can. And just reaching the arms forward about shoulder level. Right arm will go back. A little twist. Keep left arm forward. You can slowly turn your head, maybe look past the right hands. Okay, so naturally your pelvis will turn a little with your spine, that's okay. Bring right arm forward to center. Keep sitting in your chair. Left arm back. Turning the chest. Maybe the rotation continues through your neck as you look past your left hand. Okay, can you sense how the pelvis and spine are connected? They turn a little together. Left arm forward. And fold, hands down. Halfway lifts. High plank. Okay, can you hold your plank strongly? Firm thighs. Have your feet about hip width apart. And then for another little twist, we're going to spin both heels to the left. Okay, so you're on the outer left foot, inner right foot. Dorsiflex, ankles pulling toes towards your shin, just to stabilize ankles more. Bring heels back to center, strong through your side. Spin heels to the right. You're on the outer right foot, inner left foot. Breathe. Heels to center. Downward facing dog. Taking the right leg back and up. Bring right knee towards your nose. Step forward. You plant the entire right foot. You want as much of the foot to push through as you can get. Stay on the ball of your left foot. High lunge is next. Okay, chest and arms up. Okay, we'll try a vertical twist to the right. So left arm forward, right arm back. Upper body looks like your chair from not too long ago. Stay or go to exalted with left arm up. Right hand can lightly touch left thigh or go to the sacrum. Steady gaze. Okay, let's meet in crescent. Return to center, arms overhead. And now chest forward, arms back. Okay, low belly tone here. Core a little brace. Let's try warrior 3. Weight to right foot. Left leg lifts, hamstring strong. Maybe right leg is straight too, but it doesn't have to be. Finding your balance here. Look ahead of right toes, don't look back. One more breath. Okay, let's go to chair. Left foot close to right, bending knees, arms up. Then straighten your legs, hands to heart center. All right, circle arms overhead. Folding forward, hinge at your hips. Halfway lift. Okay, high plank again. Just pause here. Feet about hip width apart. Okay, this time let's spin both heels to the right first. Pushing through both hands, firm thighs, dorsiflex ankles. Heels go through center and spin them to the left. Take a pause. Heels to center, downward facing dog. Left leg back and up. Left knee to your nose, quiet step through. You're grounding the whole left foot, stay on the ball of the right foot. Right heel is elevated for high lunge, no rush. Arms up to the sky. Okay, adding a vertical twist to the left, right arm forward, left arm back. You could stay, perhaps you add exalted with right arm to the ceiling. Left hand light if it's on your back thigh or sacrum. Choose your focal point. Meeting in center, high lunge. Okay, now holding or tilting the torso forward. Arms back, hold here. Okay, keep abs engaged, lifted, supporting the spine better. Shift more weight to left foot. Push off the back toes for warrior 3. Your warrior 3 today. From the side, you might look like a T, close to parallel with the ground. It's not required. I'd rather you focus on the straight line of energy from head to right foot. Okay, supporting legs strong, okay, while responsive. One more breath here. For a chair, you could bring feet close together, bend your knees, arms overhead, then straighten legs. Hands at your heart. Close it out. Rest your arms down. Notice your breathing. And just by noticing it, you can start to slow it down. On your next cycle, reach arms overhead and fold forward. Take a ball squat, bending your knees a lot. You can bring hips to heels, round through your back if it feels okay. The forehead towards knees. For a toe stand, look forward. Start to raise your chest. Torso more upright. Maybe bringing hands to heart. Lift from your legs. Can you feel the little muscles in your feet activating? No work from the shoulders. Another breath. And with or without using hands, sit on your mat. And feel free to give your legs a little shake here. All right, so we've moved quite a lot through the spine. We've done some twisting. So I'll lead you through this rolling exercise, rolling on the ground. And this is a good way to just get more connected to the ground, first of all, to just feel what parts of the body are working or what needs to work to roll. And you'll find that you actually need to use a good amount of your core, this three-dimensional unit of strength here in your center. So lower onto your back. You could always stay sitting up to watch first, but if you can, just listen closely. We're going to start laying on the back and just have the arms back overhead. Okay, so for now, just let the ground support you. We're going to try to roll basically onto our stomach, leading with one leg at a time. And this will make more sense in a moment. So here on your back, raise your right leg off the ground. Start to reach your right foot across over your left leg to the left. And then just imagine someone is gently pulling your right foot, forward and down, and your leg will essentially keep pulling your body till you roll to your stomach. Okay. And from here, we're going to try a locust pose. So lift your arms and legs, a little back bends. One more breath. With control, lower down. Okay, to reverse that roll we just did, raise your right leg off the ground. Okay, and try to reach your right foot now back and to the left over your left foot. And imagine someone's pulling your leg forward. Keep on pulling, and that leg helps pull you onto your back. Okay, we'll try that again. That right side, so right leg lifts. Start to move it across your body. So you're gonna probably end up off your mat, that's okay. And then just pretend someone's pulling that right foot down away from you. And then you start to roll over to your belly. Good, lift your right leg. Take that right foot back and across. Let your right hip lift off the floor as that leg pulls you onto your back. All right, take a moment to soak that all in. It could take time for it to feel a little more graceful. It's usually a little awkward and clunky at first. but with time can feel rather good. So lift your left leg now. Take your left leg across and over the right leg. Okay, and then just pretend someone's pulling your foot, forward and away from you to roll through the hips and over your right side to your belly. From here, let's do another locust. One more, lifting arms and legs, strong back. Gently release. Okay, now can you lift left leg, the whole leg? Start to reach that foot back across to the right. So your left hip will lift. Okay, someone's pulling your left foot away from you, helping you roll to your back. Okay, let's try one more time. Lifting left leg. Take your foot across to the right. So you're moving it through more planes here. Reach your left foot away from you and let your body naturally roll to your belly. To reverse, lift left leg. Still leading with that leg. Move it back and across to the right. You can touch the foot to the floor. Someone's pulling your foot farther from you and you're on your back. Okay, feel free to keep trying that. There's another way to practice this where you lead with your upper body instead. I can say that for the next one. Okay, so we'll just stay on the back now. Pull your knees to your chest. Give your legs a squeeze. Maybe rock a little side to side. Okay, stepping left foot on your mat. Cross right ankle over left knee. We'll try a version of half or reclined pigeon that just requires more strength rather than using hands. So you could rest hands on your belly, maybe they're down. Dorsiflex your right ankle, okay, stabilizing your knee. And just use your outer right hip basically to move right knee forward to open the thigh in your hip more, okay, while keeping the pelvis level. And just check in here first. You might feel enough stretching in your hip. And then to add more, still not using hands, recruit your left hip flexor, the front of your left hip, to raise left foot off the ground. Use that hip flexor to pull your left knee close to you, towards you. Okay, you might find you get an adequate stretch already here without using your hands to pull. And just squeeze and contract that left hip flexor to guide left knee towards you. Another breath. Left foot down, right foot down. Okay, for the other side, cross left ankle over right knee, dorsiflex your ankle, pulling your toes back. Okay, so first just try to keep the pelvis level and balanced. Use your outer left hip to open that left thigh forward, moving your left knee more away from you. Maybe you stay here. Or lifting right foot off the mat, shorten and contract, engage basically your right hip flexor to pull right knee towards yourself with strength. Easy breath. Another cycle or two. Softly return right foot to your mat, left foot to. Take a pause. And lastly, happy baby. You can grab feet, ankles, or shins, knees wide. I like to hold the heels sometimes. Maybe add some movement to your happy baby. Or stay in center, in stillness. Whenever you're ready, you could settle down for a final resting pose. You just choose the most comfortable supporting position. You might use props to raise the floor. You might close your eyes or cover them. You balance out all of your hard work and focus with some time to rest. Staying at least a couple minutes if possible. Okay, feel free to go about your day whenever you need. I appreciate you following along, sharing your space, and I hope that this empowers you and enriches how you move through life. Thank you.